Ratcliffe, Saskatchewan, this Sunday afternoon just past coffee, July 24th, 2016. We're on the south side of the hamlet, looking due west along Grid Road 707, also known as Township Road 20. We are exactly 6 miles from the American border. The Trossachs Plains here, swales of undifferentiated glacial till, coated in a weathering of loamy, dark brown solanitic soils. About 40% of the terrain is cultivated in this neighborhood. Lots of hay and pastures. And a well. In 1952, the Ratcliffe beds, about 6,500 feet below our feet, were discovered to hold oil. The Ratcliffe field here was the result. I think this is a storage battery, probably operated by Spartan or Whitecap now. On the north end of town, looking westward down the right-of-way that the Canadian Pacific laid through here in 1926 or 27, the station of Portable stood right there. The elevators were further west down there. This is the town site of Ratcliffe and the Ratcliffe Hall on Main Street. There was an avenue running on the south side of the hall there. Across the avenue where the bushes are, there was a couple of houses at one time. There was some substantial buildings on the north side of the hall. Of course, there was nothing here before the railway came through. The old schoolhouse. Across from the school there was an enormous garden, laid out likely during the war in the pattern of the British Union flag, which was Canada's flag at that time. It's right there, all overgrown now. Looking south down Range Road 155, west of the 2nd here. Opposite the garden on the east side of the range road was a farmstead. The house remains. And this enormous shed. The little station was behind us at mile 49.5 from Estevan on the Bromhead side. I'm looking eastward up with the right-of-way, now a nice road. Joseph Ratcliffe settled on a homestead about 3 miles north of this location in 1906. And on September the 1st, 1909, he established a post office, likely in the parlor of his house. It was Sam Altman who in 1926 moved the post office into his store on the town site, just on the north side of the hall here. I think the hall is an original structure, with the shed added later on. Mrs. Ivy May Pollock closed the post office on June the 30th, 1962. Oh, it looks like some chunks of elevators. There was 2 at Ratcliffe, both closed by the pool in 1983. Well, that's unusual for a hamlet, eh? A fire plug, a water system. And here's your ball diamonds, a little overgrown. A lot of Americans of Scandinavian descent settled in this area in the early 1900s. And the old school was built in 1929 as a 2-room. It was reduced to 1 room in 1941 when the senior classes were cancelled. The whole school was closed in 1958. The nearest school now is at Onger, about 10 miles northeast up the line. Ratcliffe is right on the edge of the Sonnenfield colony of Jewish farmers who began settling north of here in 1905. Survived through until the 1930s, when the colony all but disappeared. They were supporters of the school district and major contributors to it. Looking west from Main Street or Center Street, the bush where those couple of houses were, there's still got power in Ratcliffe. There never was very much to this community. Come the 50s, there was only maybe 8-10 occupied houses. Ratcliffe never was incorporated as a village or even organized as a hamlet. It's a ward of the rural municipality of Souris Valley number 7. The grain elevator stood north of the hall about a block. 1926 Union Grain built even before steel was on the right-of-way. 1927 the pool built. Those no concrete foundations. On Treaty 4 territory, actually. Signed on September the 15th, 1874 at Fort Capel. It was signed by many Plains Cree clans and some Assiniboine. They agreed to share their land with the newcomers. They really had no idea what was in store. Nor did the newcomers, I guess. From 1912 through 1914, the CPR extended a line out from Estevan to Tribune just north of here. The Tribune sunk. In 1926, they decided to push west, so they dropped a switch in the sub at Southall near Bromhead and pushed a spur 26.3 miles out to Lake Alma. Paused a year and then pushed another 20 miles west to Minton. Ratcliffe is in what they call the Trossachs Plains, the western fringe of the moist mixed grass ecoregion. West of here, the Lake Alma uplands are part of the Missouri Coteau, the third prairie stack. Ratcliffe, Saskatchewan.